On October 20th, a criminal syndicate in northern Myanmar discovered 3 Chinese undercover cops. They killed them and ordered the slaughter of more than 70 Chinese people, resulting in a major 10/20 tragedy. After negotiations failed, the Chinese police airdropped a large number of weapons to the so-called Kokang Allied Forces, and that's a guerrilla resistance group that's fighting against the criminal clans. On October 27th, this resistance, led by a Chinese man named Peng De-ren, launched an attack in the name of combating telefraud. 7,000 guerrilla fighters instantly defeated 20,000 Myanmar troops, and thus began the conflict in northern Burma's Shan state. Now, what does the Chinese regime have to do and to gain here? And why were Chinese undercover police there in the first place? Welcome to China Insider, I'm David Zhang. First of all, Burma, Myanmar, I have to use them interchangeably because I don't really know which one is more correct. So there's an ongoing conflict in northern Myanmar, or Burma, between ethnic fighters and government militants. Now, that's in the area of Kokang, which is in the Shan state. This is where Chinese criminal syndicates have made their home. Bordering the province of Yunnan, this is the hotbed of all the scam texts, pretty girl profiles, and gambling setups you see around the world. In 2009, Burmese government made a deal with 4 Chinese clans to overthrow a local warlord named Peng Kya-shen. And since then, the Kokang region has been ran by these 4 clans, plus a few powerful names too. These clans form the so-called Burmese government militants. And Chinese clans have made the region of Kokang the hotspot for telefraud, pig butchering scams, sextortion, and gambling networks. Under the banner of eliminating telefraud, Peng Kya-shen's son, who continued after his dad was defeated, to fight against the 4 clans in guerrilla warfare in this area, up until this day. However, suddenly on October 27th, he gained a massive upgrade in firepower and manpower. He took control of a village in the key Lokyang area. This is all a part of the so-called ethnic allied forces. So where did he get all the help to defeat them? I mean, we call them resistance fighters, but in reality, they were sponsored and mysteriously helped by some sort of a force. Who did that? I think it was likely China. Here's the overall conclusion before we dive further. China is dissatisfied with the current power balance in the region, and China needs a new negotiation with the junta for its own geopolitical control over Burma. And China can objectively reduce criminal activities, but that's not the main focus in northern Burma, because China wants to develop its Belt and Road Initiative and geopolitical access through Myanmar or Burma. And finally, China wants to install a new, more obedient person to control the area in Kokang. Now, this playbook has been done before. It was used back in the Mao era, when it was the days of the Burmese Communist Party and the Chinese Communist Party, right? They were trying to seek to find the balance between multiple different factions, and whoever can find the maximum amount of benefit for the CCP, they would go and help them. Now, in the early morning of the October 20th incident, Crouching Tiger Resort in Burma was transferring hundreds of kidnapped mainland piglets. Piglets is a nickname for laborers who basically got fooled and scammed to come to Burma. And it triggered a revolt and escape. People opened fire on the escapees. And some sources suggest that this was all then triggered, or before that, by the Chinese undercover police who were first found and killed. Now, these men were killed by the Ming family, who are Chinese, but they were lured here for work. Now, Crouching Tiger Resort actually runs the underground criminal activities, much like what the 4 clans do in Burma as well. And this is all part of the much bigger Ming family, which is the head of the Ming family is Ming Guoan, which is the one that actually ordered for the people to be killed on the spots. Now, China has sent out a wanted notice for 4 members of the Ming family over telefraud, but not Ming Guoan, who is the man mainly responsible for the killing. So, the CCP maybe has another plan, who knows? But before we continue, here is our sponsored segment. Now, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but 85% of this channel's viewers are male, and about 15% are female. What I'm about to show you today, though, is the perfect gift for this holiday season. This is the Sowa Su Essential Comfort Balancing Daily Routine Set, and that's a perfect gift set for your most cherished person. Guys, if you're struggling to find a proper gift for your wife, girlfriend, or even a female friend, look no further. This is it. And girls, I don't have to tell you too much about this brand because it's life-changing. Now, Sohwa Su is like the Porsche of skincare. It's the premium skincare brand from Korea, loved by actors like Song Hye-kyo and Blackpink's Rosé. Now, let me tell you, Koreans do skincare like you've never seen them before. Now, this gift set contains a watery moisturizer that's not oily, it's fitting for all skin types, and it's not heavy on your skin, as well as a wonderful emulsion which makes your skin glow. And it also has 4 sample size products, including a first care serum and a ginseng renewing cream. Many places actually sell this gift set, including at Sephora, but because you get a 15% off with my code, and you also get free shipping if you spend $70 or more in the US. Now, we got the product directly from Suhwasu in Korea, as some of the other stores that sell them don't really sell the manufactured from Korea brand version, but they actually sell it maybe made in Taiwan or some other country. But ours is 100% authentic. So check the link in the description and or in the comment and get yourself some today. This is the time to get it. All right, let's get back to the video. You see, for a very long time, they have turned blind eyes into what was going on with the criminal groups run by those 4 clans and others in the Kokang area. That is, Chinese people have been fooled to go to northern Burma thinking that they're getting employment opportunity only to be sold as essentially slaves. Now, even their own communications equipment and networks are provided by Chinese telecom, and phone numbers calling into China are not even considered international calls. Many of these networks target Chinese people, and the CCP has called for eradicating telefraud and scam networks in the region, but haven't made a large-scale move to solve the issue. So it's an open secret that Chinese people, they're essentially hired to northern Burma, and essentially that's meeting their demise, becoming people like scammers, prostitutes, and so on, and never get to escape. Now, because sometimes they're told by friends and former workers in China, they believe that, thinking they can make good money here. And so these poor people end up in jail cells working as scammers. Makes me wonder if the killing of the Chinese people this time is really the trigger for a need to solve the criminal issue or a need to reshuffle regional power. The CCP is now backing Peng De-ren, the resistance fighters who are trying to win back his father's throne. But all at the same time, the CCP seems to have made moves to also support the Burmese junta, as well as the other side, which is the criminal activity groups. Now, you might be wondering, why would they support all sides of the conflict at the same time, knowing that one side clearly killed the Chinese people, the other side is trying to win back power, and the Burmese junta is just there to maintain power within the country? It's very complicated, but that's exactly what the Chinese Communist Party does. The truth is, the CCP wants more from Myanmar. The weapon and equipment support for the resistance fighters came 7 days after the 10/20 incident. What seemed to confirm is the Chinese police involvement is their top public security officials' visit to Myanmar on October 31st, just 4 days after the resistance started the conflict. Wang Xiaohong comes as the head of the public security, aka the police, and a member of the top security wing of the CCP. And his message is very clear. He's here to say that we have so much control over all the different factions of power that you have to listen to us if you want the issue solved. Now, under the guise of getting rid of telefraud, he's asking the Burmese junta to basically give an answer on what they're going to do to be more obedient to China. Maybe it's the Belt and Road Initiative, who knows. Prior to support from China, Peng De-ren was simply running a 1,000-member little resistance group. But then suddenly he had an ability to attack in the name of combating telefraud with 7,000 people. Instantly, they had so much firepower, they defeated a 20,000 Myanmar troops group. And so Peng's fighters somehow accurately blocked the reinforcements routes and then claimed to have found weapons left over from World War II, which they picked up in the jungle. And that somehow included drones and tanks. So it was impossible to achieve all this without accurate intelligence from China. So I think the geopolitical and the exerting control aspect is much bigger. You see, Myanmar sits geographically next to the Indian Ocean, and it's very close to the Malacca Strait. China's Belt and Road Initiative views Myanmar as a key nation to influence. One of the strategies of the US is to block the CCP to access the Malacca Strait, as that's where the supply ships trying to enter Asia would have to transit through. At this point, this is a choke point where global shipping routes wanting to go to China or otherwise would have to go through the Malacca Strait into East Asia. So to get to China, you have to go up the South China Sea. But blocking the Malacca Strait means blocking China supplying. And so for the Chinese side, ensuring that the Malacca Strait is free from a blockade is very important. And so Myanmar becomes a top priority for China. And this goes back to the days of the Burmese Communist Party as well. The CCP was supporting both the white flag and the red flag wing of the Burmese communists, while also they were trying to get into contact with the then pro-British Burmese government. And so they were, while trying to solve the issue of the Burmese Civil War, supporting the communists in Burma, they were also trying to establish relationship with the government at the time. And then that made everything really complicated, right? But that's basically what the CCP is trying to do, is create a situation where they're always going to win. Today's ruling regime, the junta, is also influenced by China, just as the democratic government before the junta, the Aung San Suu Kyi government, was also doing. So China basically tries to cultivate a relationship with all parties of Burma. And this brings us back to northern Burma. The CCP is looking for a power change. Someone who is more obedient to China must be placed on the top to control the area. Not the clans who are going to murder people, but also someone who is actually benefiting from China's help. And so this is why the end of the telefraud scam and organ harvesting will not happen under the watch of the CCP and this new person or this new resistance, but rather it's going to end if it benefits somehow the situation of controlling Myanmar. And I simply don't see that happening right now, by the way. That's the basis of them making money, but that's the logic behind it. The CCP will never use that as the real reason to change the status quo in the area. All right, that's it today for the episode on why there's a war in northern Burma and why the Chinese regime is behind it. I'm David Zhang, this is China Insider. If you enjoy the content, leave a like, comment below your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel today. All right, until next time, bye-bye.